Every man has felt it, that sudden shift you can't explain. One day she's warm, responsive, almost drawn to you. Then something changes. Her tone cools, her attention drifts, her presence becomes a ghost of what it was. Most men panic. They search for reasons, rewrite conversations, blame themselves. But Machiavelli would say this: you did not make a mistake, you simply broke a rule you never knew existed. Because feminine attraction isn't governed by logic or kindness. It's governed by instinct, ancient, automatic, and brutally honest. It doesn't respond to effort. It responds to authority of self, to emotional stability, to the quiet signal of a man who does not seek validation, because he already carries his own gravity. There are psychological laws inside her, laws even she cannot name. Align with them, and she feels pulled toward you without knowing why. Violate them, and she withdraws before either of you understands what happened. In this video, we reveal 3 of these hidden laws, the ones Machiavelli would say determine whom she respects, whom she tests, and whom she desires. There is a part of feminine psychology most men never notice, the part that reacts before she thinks, speaks, or even realizes why she feels what she feels. Attraction does not begin with your words, your charm, or your effort. It begins the moment she becomes aware of your presence. In that instant, she is not analyzing you. She isn't judging your looks or replaying your sentences. Her instincts are doing the work for her, silently, immediately, and without mercy. These instincts are ancient. They predate culture, language, romance, even logic itself. They respond not to what you present, but to what you are in your most unguarded state. A woman reads your emotional field before she hears your voice. If you carry urgency, tension, or a hunger for approval, her instincts register a man who is unsettled. If you carry calmness, grounded posture, and an inner stillness, her instincts register a man who is safe and worth noticing. She doesn't choose this. She senses it, the same way you sense danger before you understand the reason. This is why so many men sabotage attraction before it ever forms. They try to perform, cracking jokes, trying to impress, polishing their image. But performance reveals the truth. You are shaping yourself around her, instead of standing as yourself. And nothing repels female instinct faster than a man who orbits. Women don't respond to the man who performs. They respond to the man who embodies emotional neutrality, self-possession, and the calm authority that doesn't need anyone's approval. A calm man signals stability. A steady man signals reliability. A self-governed man signals the quiet power Machiavelli admired, the kind of strength that cannot be manipulated because it doesn't seek anything from her. This is why strategic silence works, why slow, deliberate movements create unspoken tension, why a man who doesn't rush, justify, or overreact becomes magnetic without trying. Attraction is not something you build through effort. It's something she feels before she even understands why. She reads your posture, your breathing, your rhythm, your presence, all within a second, all without conscious thought. And you cannot fake this. You cannot talk your way around it. You cannot negotiate with her instinctive mind. You can only become the kind of man her instincts recognize as solid, a man whose internal world is stronger than the environment around him, a man who doesn't chase or contort himself for approval, a man who carries his own gravity. To her instincts, that kind of man is irresistible. But this is only the beginning, because once her instincts sense your presence, something deeper begins, a silent, ancient test designed to measure your emotional stability. And that test is the first real filter every man must pass. Men often misinterpret a woman's tests as games, drama, or manipulation. But the truth is far simpler and far older. Her tests are not planned, they are instinctive. A biological mechanism built to answer one question: does this man remain centered when the world applies pressure? This instinct existed long before dating, texting, or modern psychology. She doesn't choose to test you, just as you don't choose to sense weakness in another man. The instinct acts before the mind catches up. These tests appear subtly: a playful challenge, a brief silence, a delayed answer, a small contradiction. Moments that seem meaningless to you, but reveal your entire emotional structure to her. Because a woman isn't measuring your words, she's measuring your responses, your ability to stay still when something pushes against you. When she offers a light provocation, she isn't trying to unsettle you. She is reading the truth. Do you become reactive? Do you defend yourself too quickly? Do you need her reassurance to stay calm? Or do you remain composed? Most men think they're being judged for what they say next. They aren't. They're being judged for what their nervous system does next. If you tense up, explain yourself, chase clarity, or try to correct the moment, her instincts downgrade you immediately, not out of malice, but because instability signals risk. Throughout human history, a man who couldn't handle small tension couldn't handle real danger. Instinct remembers this. But when a man stays calm, when he responds slowly, without urgency, when he treats friction as something light, almost unimportant, that man signals a steadiness she can feel in her bones. This is why humor works, why a relaxed smirk disarms tension, why a casual "it's fine" carries more weight than any explanation. Composure communicates authority, and Machiavelli understood power is revealed not by reaction, but by restraint. Most men fail these moments because they react from insecurity. They try to protect their image, win her approval, or resist the test entirely. But the centered man sees something different. He sees a mirror, a moment revealing who he is, not who he is trying to be. He doesn't fight the test. He dissolves it with calm, because when you refuse to react, you show that you cannot be emotionally hijacked. Your peace is not up for negotiation. Your identity is not on trial. And when a woman feels that steadiness, truly feels it, her instincts shift. She no longer questions whether you can handle pressure. Instead, a far deeper curiosity awakens. Where is this man going? What direction is his life moving in? What future is he building? That question opens the door to the next instinctive filter, one not about your emotional strength, but about your trajectory. There is a truth about attraction most men never understand. A woman isn't drawn to who you are today. She's drawn to who you are becoming. Direction is the silent core of masculine value, not loud, not performative, not something you advertise. It is a momentum that shapes your posture, your confidence, your very presence. Women feel this long before they know your story, before they know your ambitions, before they know your personality. They sense whether your life is moving or standing still. This sense isn't emotional, it's biological. For thousands of years, a man's ability to build, advance, and carve out a future meant survival. Instinct evolved to detect that momentum instantly. This is why passivity destroys attraction. Not failure. Failure can command respect if it comes with forward motion. But stagnation, hesitation, drifting, these signal danger at the instinctive level. Movement, even slow movement, signals potential. A man with direction carries a quiet gravity, a pull that requires no effort, no persuasion. His energy says, "I am going somewhere. You may walk beside me if you choose, but I will not stand still." Women feel this without a single word being spoken. This is why men who chase women often lose them, and men who chase purpose attract them without trying. Purpose anchors your mind. It strips away neediness. It makes approval optional instead of necessary. When a man is moving forward, his habits harden, his standards rise, his emotional reactivity fades, not because he's trying to impress anyone, but because his future demands discipline. Direction simplifies everything. A man with momentum doesn't need to claim it or prove it. He doesn't need to be successful yet. The motion itself signals power. Women are not drawn to perfection. They're drawn to trajectory, the unmistakable energy of a man who is expanding, improving, advancing. She's not studying your achievements. She's studying the current behind your life. Are you building? Are you training your mind? Are you sharpening your world? Are you moving with intention? This is the instinct she trusts. But direction alone is not enough, because she is not only watching where you're going, she's watching who you become on the way there. A man with momentum, but without emotional sovereignty, becomes unstable, easy to manipulate, easy to derail, easy to control. Purpose without inner strength is fragile. And that leads to the next truth. Your direction is meaningless if you don't possess the one quality women sense more sharply than anything else: your emotional independence. When she sees a man moving forward and remaining internally grounded, her respect transforms into something deeper, something instinctive, something powerful. And that is where the next stage begins. If there is one trait that determines whether a woman is drawn to you or quietly repelled, it is emotional independence. Your ability to remain centered regardless of how she responds, behaves, or shifts. Most men never master this. They believe attraction grows from attention, effort, or consistency. But feminine instinct is tracking something far more telling. Does this man's emotional state depend on me? A woman senses dependency instantly, not through dramatic behavior, through micro signals. The urgency in your tone, the speed of your replies, the anxiety in your silence, the need to clarify what wasn't questioned, the subtle fear of displeasing her. These tiny cues reveal a larger truth. Your emotional world does not belong to you. If her attention shifts, so does your mood. If she pulls back, your center collapses. If uncertainty appears, your nerves take over. And once a woman senses that your emotions rely on her reactions, her instincts respond the only way they can. They withdraw. Not to punish you, but because dependency feels unsafe. A man who fractures under small emotional tension cannot be trusted in real storms. But emotional independence creates the opposite effect. A man who doesn't chase reassurance, who doesn't tense when she goes quiet, who doesn't crumble when she becomes distant. That man radiates a strength she feels in her body before she understands it in her mind. His emotions are self-governed. His worth is not borrowed from her attention. His calmness is not conditional. This is the man who becomes magnetic without effort, not because he tries to be attractive, but because his inner world is intact. A woman feels deepest safety with a man whose emotional state she does not have to manage. She does not need to stabilize his moods. She does not carry the weight of his insecurity. She does not become responsible for his happiness. Emotional independence tells her, I am complete on my own. I choose you, but I do not require you to remain whole. This is where real polarity forms. A sovereign man's presence becomes heavier, calmer, more grounded. His silence communicates certainty. His interest feels intentional rather than hungry. His boundaries become natural instead of forced. Machiavelli understood this dynamic clearly. The one who controls his emotional state controls the relationship. Women seldom verbalize it, but they feel it with absolute clarity. They are drawn to the man who feels full without them, because fullness signals strength, safety, and direction. But emotional independence does more than change her attraction. It shifts the entire dynamic, because once she senses your emotions are truly your own, her instincts activate the next filter. How well can you handle pressure? And that is where the next transformation begins. Any man can look confident when life is quiet. Any man can appear composed when nothing pushes against him. But real masculine strength is revealed only in pressure, in the subtle conflicts, emotional frictions, and unexpected shifts that test your center. Women sense this with precision. They don't judge you by how you act when everything is smooth. They watch who you become when tension enters the room. A misunderstood message. a brief silence, a teasing comment, a flicker of insecurity, a moment where the energy changes without warning. These aren't inconveniences. They are instinctive checkpoints that reveal your discipline, your emotional structure, and your leadership. Most men fail here. Under pressure, they overreact. They rush to justify themselves. They raise their voice or lose their center. They try to win the moment instead of holding the frame of the moment. In those reactions, attraction evaporates, quietly, instantly, not because she wants drama, but because instability signals risk. Throughout human history, a man who cracked under small pressure could not be trusted in real danger. Her instincts still follow that code. But when a man remains calm, genuinely calm, the entire dynamic shifts. Not fake calm, not suppressed irritation, real composure, steady breathing, a face that doesn't tighten, a voice that stays low, a posture that doesn't shrink or jump to defend itself. These aren't techniques, they're evidence, signs of inner order. A man who can stay centered in discomfort shows that he governs his inner world rather than being governed by it. He does not chase explanations. He does not argue from ego. He does not rush to resolve tension out of insecurity. He listens. He observes. He responds deliberately, not emotionally. This isn't passivity. It's sovereignty. Women instinctively respect the man who can hold tension without collapsing, because self-command is rare, and a man who cannot command himself will eventually need someone else to command him, often her. No woman is attracted to a man she must emotionally stabilize. But a man who stays anchored in conflict, he becomes someone she can trust, not because he is fearless, but because he is unmoved. Machiavelli understood this with clarity. The man who loses control forfeits influence, but the man who governs his reactions governs the entire dynamic. And once she sees that pressure cannot shake you, that conflict does not unbalance you, that uncertainty does not pull you out of your center, her instincts shift once again. Because even mastery under pressure is not the final stage. To reach the highest level of attraction, the level few men ever touch, you must embody the deepest Machiavellian principle: influence without force. There is a kind of power most men never touch, the kind that does not persuade, perform, or convince. Machiavelli understood it centuries ago. Real influence is quiet. Real power is felt, not shown. Real attraction happens without force. This law governs kingdoms as much as it governs desire. A woman is not drawn to the man who talks the most, tries the hardest, or reaches for her approval. She is drawn to the man who carries himself with sovereignty, a presence that shapes the emotional atmosphere simply by entering it. Influence begins with perception. How she perceives your inner world determines how she responds to your outer presence. If your energy is unstable, approval-seeking, or reactive, her instincts withdraw, even if your words sound confident. But if your energy is calm, grounded, and self-directed, her instincts lean toward you before she can explain why. This is why the man who tries to impress always loses, while the man who remains centered becomes unforgettable. Because performance can be faked, presence cannot. Women feel internal gravity before they understand it consciously. They sense the difference between a man who acts confident and a man who is confident, between a man who behaves calmly and a man whose calm is unshakable. This is the masculine energy Machiavelli wrote about, not dominance, but self-command. A sovereign man does not chase validation. He does not negotiate who he is. He does not shape himself to be selected. He moves with a quiet certainty. If our paths align, good. If they don't, mine continues unchanged. That certainty forms emotional gravity. Women feel safest around a man who cannot be bent by approval, a man who can walk away, a man whose choices come from strength rather than hunger. This is why the most magnetic men speak less. They speak with purpose. They move with intention. They don't rush to fill silence. They let silence do the work. Their presence becomes communication, a steady gaze, a controlled tone, a relaxed breath, a posture that does not shift to impress or apologize. These cues reveal more than any dramatic gesture ever could. Machiavelli warned that force weakens a ruler because it exposes need. Only the man who governs himself earns real influence. In attraction, the same law applies. When you stop performing and begin embodying, your presence shapes how she feels simply by being there. And once a woman senses this, once she feels that your power is internal rather than projected, her instincts awaken to a deeper question. Not just, is he sovereign, but is he evolving? Because sovereignty draws a woman in, but a man who continually grows becomes irresistible. And that is where the next stage begins. There is a pattern in female attraction most men overlook. A woman is not drawn to the man who has everything. She is drawn to the man who is becoming something. Progress is more seductive than perfection. Growth signals movement, and movement signals life. For thousands of years, a woman's survival depended on choosing a man who could adapt, evolve, and create stability. That instinct still governs her attraction today. She doesn't need a man who is already established. She needs a man who is advancing, even slowly. Growth communicates potential. Stagnation communicates danger. A stagnant man isn't stable. He is stuck, predictable, and unprepared for the future. Women feel this long before they understand it logically. They sense the subtle difference between a man who waits for life and a man who shapes it. A stagnant man reacts. An evolving man initiates. A stagnant man feels heavy. An evolving man carries a momentum that pulls people in without effort. This is why ambition attracts even before results appear. The man who is learning, training, improving, and building doesn't need to announce anything. His direction speaks for him. You can see it in the way he moves, in the quiet decisiveness of his choices, in the discipline behind how he spends his time, in the clarity of a man who is constructing his future rather than drifting through it. Women feel this momentum with extraordinary sensitivity. They can tell if your life is expanding or shrinking, often within a moment. And they respond accordingly. When you evolve, she feels drawn in, not because she wants your resources, but because growth creates gravity. A man who is becoming stronger represents a future worth aligning with, not a future given to him, but one he is actively building. This is why even a man with modest circumstances can attract deeply if he is rising. A man who works on himself is magnetic because his presence tells a story of movement, direction, and purpose. And growth changes more than attraction. It changes her behavior. She respects you more. She invests more. She tests less. Because evolution reassures her instinct that you are moving toward the role nature expects of a strong man, one who leads, builds, protects, and expands. And once growth becomes your default state, once you stop reacting to life and start shaping it, your entire presence transforms. Your silence gains weight. Your boundaries sharpen. Your vision becomes unmistakable. Your influence becomes quieter and stronger. And this momentum carries you toward Machiavelli's final realm, the domain of silent power. There is a level of masculine development that few men ever reach, a state where you no longer pursue influence, because influence radiates from you without effort. Machiavelli understood this final stage of power. The man who governs himself governs perception. True strength is not domination, intimidation, or control over others. It is complete command over your own mind, emotions, and direction. A self-mastery so deep it quietly bends the environment around you. A sovereign man does not react to chaos. He absorbs it. He does not chase approval. He chooses alignment. He does not seek attention. His presence already holds it. Women feel this long before they understand it. They sense the steadiness in your eyes, the meaning inside your silences, the intention behind your movements, the firmness of your boundaries. A sovereign man's world does not collapse around a woman. He does not use her attention as emotional oxygen or reshape himself to be chosen. He stands whole, anchored in his mission, defined by principles that existed before she arrived and will continue if she leaves. This is the foundation of instinctive attraction. Women do not align with men who need them. They align with the rare man who embodies strength without desperation, presence without performance, connection without dependence. A sovereign man creates safety not with promises, but with an internal stability she can feel. When he speaks, his words land. When he is silent, the silence matters. When he decides, the decision stands. When he gives attention, it has weight. He doesn't enter relationships to lose himself. He enters with a self-worth bringing. She can relax beside him because he does not crumble under conflict, abandon his direction for affection, or trade his identity for approval. Her instincts align with him naturally, not because he forces attraction, but because everything in him communicates, I can carry myself, and I can carry what life brings. This is the type of man women follow, respect, invest in, and remember, not because he chased them, but because he remained centered while the world shifted around him. This is Machiavelli's final stage of attraction, a power that requires no force, a magnetism that requires no performance, a confidence that requires no noise. A sovereign man does not win women through strategy. He becomes the gravitational center their instincts orbit. And when you reach this state, when your presence, direction, and emotional world are fully your own, you stop pursuing attraction. You become the force her instincts choose before she understands why.